King, and you're watching Positive Conversations, where we interview leaders and scientists who are making a positive difference in the world. I want to personally welcome members of our live community who are joining us for the interview. And we're happy to have you here, and we'll be taking a few questions from you at the end. Our co-host is Dr. James Pawelski, professor at the University of Pennsylvania Positive Psychology Center. We'd like to welcome the greatest running back in NFL history, Jim Brown, and his lovely wife, Monique, to the show. We're glad that you're here. Jim, I'll start with you. Do champions have a different mindset? How much of the game is mind? What was your mindset?
To know what I'm supposed to do and to do it at my best and create a physical superiority.
There's a lot of wisdom in those words, Jim. Succinctly said, and I bet you you could talk for a long time unpacking those. You're the greatest running back of all time. Everyone knows you as an icon. I've got a 9-year-old son who wants to know, what in the world was your strategy to score so many touchdowns? And you're an icon to millions of people around the world. And that might give people an impression that maybe you're not quite fully human. So I'm curious, was there ever a time when you questioned your ability, or when you faced an adversity that you didn't know whether or not you could overcome it? If so, what was it, and how did you get through that moment?
I broke my wrist. I had missed the game, and the coach wanted me to sit this next game out. And I insisted that that should not happen. And so they taped it up, and I played with a broken wrist. Not to tell you about it now, but I felt that I owed it to myself and to the team to play, and I did play. We're supposed to be warriors, so I'm supposed to be run, flow back, run over people, knock them down. But it was hurtful, but we made it through.
I believe that's the only injury you ever had, is it right?
Yes, that's the only thing that ever truly affected me.
You founded Amer-I-Can in 1988. Why?
Actually, I was a product of great people, the Brockmans and Great Neck, New York. There's just so many people that helped me as a youngster struggling to be an athlete. And after that, my mission was always to give back. It was not even a question. I didn't have to talk to anyone else, because I existed because great human beings took a chance on me and encouraged me, and I had no father at the time. So it was Jim Brown, superstar, but Jim Brown, very humble and appreciative for those people that helped me.
You may not know this, James, but Jim Brown is also the greatest lacrosse player who ever lived. Monique, you're the president of Amer-I-Can. What are the goals of that organization?
We're building our strategic partnerships. We are looking at ways. During COVID, we've been challenged to do some of our programs. So doing things via virtual training has been a great creative new way to reach more people. We're building our board and developing life centers, Amer-I-Can life centers across the country.
So Monique, I think there are, hundreds of millions of people around the world who wonder what it's like to play with your husband. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit what it's like to work with Jim.
What kind of question? That's a good one. I mean, it's been 20
against you, Jim. Nobody wants to play against you.
You got a big heart.
25 years in. And it's been a journey. I mean, obviously, when you work together, it's a blessing and sometimes it's a curse at the same time, because there's no end to our work. And luckily, we were fortunate enough to share a passion for people and humanity. So that makes it really great. And one thing about being married to a person that you share a purpose with is that most times what our little issues might have been the purpose in the work is greater than us. So we have a greater purpose, greater than ourselves. So we can always reference that.
Jim, what does the organization do in life skills training?
Well, life skills training is an absolute necessity to live your life. It's so fundamental that you apply each and every day to be successful. And so I was laughing because when I came up here, I knew you would probably ask this question. But the thing about it is that because we have so many years, we have so many friends, and we have so many success stories, we come pretty confident about how we can help people help themselves. And a key point, Larry, is that in life skills, the fundamentals can be applied forever, and you can live a successful life by making great choices. So it isn't like you have to go to 100 meetings and all of those things. We have a manual and a teaching methodology, and we've been very successful.
So Monique, I love what you said about a common shared purpose. So I'm interested in asking both of you how you came up with the life skills program. Are these things that you learned in your own life? If so, can you just tell us a little bit about how they've helped you personally?
Well, I can't take credit for it. I actually became involved when I met Jim in '95, but I'll say this, for me, it really changed my life. It allowed me to see things in my circumstance and in my environment that I wouldn't normally have looked at, things that were part of my conditioning and the fabric of who I am, good and bad. So I could tweak myself, do a self-analysis, and be able to make better choices and deal with the conditions that might affect my relationships in a negative way.
Jim, what life skills do people most need to learn today?
The responsibility of self-determination. In other words, you are first responsible to yourself, and there are techniques that you can use to make yourself a better person. Not to kiss butt or anything like that, Larry, but how to be confident in what your skills are and maximize your skills and what you can produce, and be able to allow yourself to admire others that can do the same thing or do it better.
Monique, you have a passion for mentoring young women. What is your message for them?
That you are not cursed at birth, that you have the ability to change the trajectory of your life and your environment if you start with yourself and apply the principles, the life skills principles that empower you towards success. So
I'm going to follow up on this point about success and touch on the idea of self-concept. So Jim, you weren't just a jock. I'd still hate to meet up with you on the gridiron, even at this point. And as Larry said, you know, lacrosse, you know, all these sports successes, but you've also had success as an actor, a commentator, a leader in your community. And Monique, you're a wonderful mother who has also had a successful career as a television and film producer and as the president of Amer-I-Can. So I'm curious to ask both of you, what gives someone the confidence to be multifaceted, not to define themselves by any one single role, even if they've been really successful in that role?
I really believe that the sooner that you know are in alignment with your purpose, your life is just kind of a thread. There are things that you're going to do, but what I found for myself, there's a common thread in everything that I've done, and it's serving people. And I know that's my gift. That's my contribution as a human being. So it's the confidence comes from knowing I'm doing something that's greater than my supposed fear of doing those things. It doesn't really come into play because I'm so passionate about all the things that I'm involved with.
Monique is an extraordinary woman. Laura asked a question in our audience. Jim, your Amer-I-Can Foundation focuses on choice and accountability for taking control of their life. What do you tell people how they face things when they have control? Everyone wants control. What do you tell people who are trying to face this question of control?
Well, I'll tell you, get rid of emotions. Intelligence is a tremendous weapon. And when you're dealing out of emotion, you're putting your intelligence to the side. Intelligence has no name other than intelligence, and it's very powerful. So pick the best choice whenever you have 2 or 3 choices to pick. Why would you not choose the best one? And that has no race, no gender. It has none of that. It is equality, and that's what it is.
and we all have choice. Monique, what are and Aaron asked this, what are the most hopeful are you about Amer-I-Can? How can people get involved?
Wow, I'm most hopeful by the fact that we've done so much work over the last 3 decades, and seeing the results of our work and the seeds that have been planted and the passion people still have for the work and supporting it. People that want to get involved can go on to our website, and I'll disclaim it and say we're building a new site in the next month. But go on to our website, email us at info@american.org. Go on to our Facebook, and just be in touch with us. Let us know how you'd like to serve. A mentor, a volunteer, a contributor, a partner, corporations, we're doing a lot.
You sure are. Jim and Monique, you've been wonderful guests. Thanks for coming on. A great show. I saw the Dirty Dozen again the other day. You were still great in it, Jim.
Terrific people. What a gentleman. And Monique is just such a beautiful soul. Great to do this interview, Larry. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks, James. Me too. See you next time.